The first segment of the Hot 7 Nightly News is brought to you by Flow.
In the headlines, two St. Lucian fishermen narrowly escaped death near St. Vincent. St. Lucia recorded 127 COVID cases and 9 deaths. And health.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Friday the 17th of September 2021. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. I am Marlon Clovis. Thank you for joining us. Two St. Lucia nationals, Sherpia Charles and Gerald Tousse, had a narrow escape when they were rescued over the weekend by the St. Vincent Coast Guard. We hear more in this report.
According to a first-hand report, the SVG Coast Guard service received a distress call via police control at about 3:10 p.m. Stating that fishing vessel Forward with two St. Lucian nationals on board encountered an engine problem and are drifting approximately 5 nautical miles off Georgetown. The Coast Guard vessel was deployed at about 3:15 p.m. to conduct searches, and the vessel was rescued at 4:25 p.m. The police say the occupants of the fishing vessel claim that they left St. Lucia at about 5:30 a.m. on a fishing expedition and subsequently encountered an engine problem at 2:20 p.m. Emergency number 999 was dialed and they received a response from the police control, St. Vincent's and the Grenadines, which resulted in the Coast Guard being deployed. The vessel and the men were taken safely to the Coast Guard base at Kaliapur.
With the increase of COVID-19 cases in St. Lucia, there is a high demand for oxygen to the patients at the respiratory hospital. Nurse Frazier, who provides care to COVID-19 patients, and medical cast manager Jonathan Emmanuel speak on this demand for oxygen.
As we know, with the influx of increased numbers of COVID patients, and then we're severely understaffed. So it's very hectic. If we can get a little more assistance with additional staffing, because for me, I'm very compassionate when it comes to patient care. Okay, and if I have on a day of 18 patients to 2 nurses, it tells me that I would not be doing my work to the best of my ability. So my patients with respiratory distress, so these patients will require oxygen level. Okay, yes, we have oxygen, but we can have patients that are very critical that requires as much as 15 liters per minute. And if I put a patient on 15 liters a minute, how long would such a tank last? It's not going to last that patient throughout the day.
The daily average consumption of the oxygen tanks, we use at least 274 per day, which is very costly. We have some patients on high flow that consume 1 tank in 40 minutes. So if you would do the maths, that means that person actually uses over 20 tanks a day just because of COVID.
So, and we have been seeing with the increase of these numbers, we have been having a lot of patients who are on high oxygen demand, okay, at 15 liters per minute. Other than that, we have patients on 3 liters if we have COPDs or patients with other respiratory problem. They can go from 3 liters to 5 liters. But what we're seeing recently, as in 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, is those that are high oxygen dependent. 2 of my wards are positive ward. I have patients on these wards, and patients are telling me, "Nurse, COVID ain't real, you know." I'm like, excuse me? But if you're here, it tells me that your PCR is positive. It tells me that you're positive to COVID. How can you tell me COVID is not real? So we have a lot of patients and persons who still believe COVID is not real. So this tells me, so when they're on the outside, they live carefree. Yes, and they come here, they're suffering. We don't want to see them suffer, but then there's only so much we can do. They have to play their part as well.
The St. Lucia Police Force is in mourning following the death of one of their own, Special Police Constable 365 Cassandra Reynolds Fevrier, attached to the Immigration Department. On Thursday, September 16th, news of the loss shattered their spirits in ways unimaginable as both Special Police Constable 365 Cassandra Reynolds Fevrier and her unborn baby passed. Police Commissioner Milton Daisy said that despite only being enlisted on September 30th, 2019, WSPC Fevrier served with distinction and positively impacted the lives of all who had the pleasure of working with her. He calls for support from others as they press on together. The Royal St. Lucia Police Force extend deepest sympathies to the family. On Thursday, the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs received confirmation of 127 new cases of COVID-19, as well as a recovery of 120 individuals who tested positive for the virus. These cases were from a batch of 464 samples processed at the Ezra Long Laboratory on Wednesday, September 15th. The Ministry of Health also reported 7 new COVID-19 deaths and 2 COVID-19 related deaths. These deaths occurred during the period September 2nd to the 14th. To date, the total number of COVID-19 deaths in country is 106, and the total number of COVID-19 related deaths is 42. This brings the total number of cases diagnosed in country to date to 10,344. 4 of these active cases are currently critical, and 9 of them are severely ill at the respiratory hospital. To date, a total of 35,464 individuals have received the first dose of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine, and 28,838 have received the second dose. A total of 7,130 individuals have received the first dose, and 85 individuals have received the second dose of the Pfizer vaccine. Still to come, another health worker pleads with the public to respect the protocols. A Jamaican minister is fired for breaking COVID protocols, and St. Vincent gets ready to export marijuana.
The first segment of the Hot 7 Nightly News was brought to you by Flow.